coming in this evening, we have another fight preview. We have Ethan Goss, one of our professional sponsored athletes. Ethan is a 5-5 MMA fighter. He will be fighting at Battle in the Burgh 5 for 247 Fighting Championships. That's going to be on November 28th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And that is going to be against Ethan Hayes, 2-0 professional, coming in to fight in the cage with Ethan Goss here. Ethan, how are you feeling this evening?
Good. Just got home from the gym. Just got home from practice. Put in work and stuff. Feel good. Weight's on point. Everything's good.
That's good. Last time we talked, you were really looking forward to getting into the cage, and you were looking forward to fighting. So you got this opportunity now to go back and kind of avenge that loss, if you want to say that. You took in 247 the last time you fought. Did you change anything? Is there anything that you're doing differently while you're training? Coming into this fight with Ethan Hayes.
It changed a little bit getting ready for the opponent. Last fight, that was what's today's date? It was nearly a year ago.
Today's the 12th,
yeah. Last fight was like the 16th or something, I think. On November 16th, nearly a year ago, COVID. But we just been staying busy the whole time. Sydney's Ross's dad, she's the one that owns the gym. He's our head coach, so we was going in and getting work in, and Coach Darren he was coming in and stuff, and we were working, and it was kind of a nice feel because you didn't have to like necessarily have to be there. You know what I mean? There was nothing coming up, so it wasn't like you had to have the grind of a camp and getting ready for a fight camp and stuff. But we just worked on everything. I had the last fight I lost to Jesus. I fought for 24/7's title. I didn't show up. You know what I mean? I mentally didn't show up for that fight. Best way for me to explain it is Ethan Goss showed up. Wolverine didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go back to the drawing board, and I had to really, assess things mentally and look at things and how I wanted to approach things. And, just kept continuously working. And, we got Cam Allgaier, who's coming up through, and we got Sydney and Darren's son, Caden, who's making his amateur debut, and we got Sheldon Nyhoff. We got guys that are hungry in the gym. So me and my old ass got to keep up with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's funny you said about the the mental side of things, and that Ethan Goss showed up and not the Wolverine showing up, and sometimes that is the deciding factor in a fight. Fighting is very mental. You could be in the best physical shape of your life, feel 100% confident, and then it's just for whatever reason you're not there in your head. Now you said you did some work on that. You went back and kind of assessed some things. So are you confident now that the Wolverine's going to be coming out here in about 2 weeks?
Yes, I feel extremely good. You know what I mean? Everything's been feeling good. Everything's mentally, I've been having an extremely good camp. I haven't had very many days at all. Everybody's got their good days and their bad days, but I haven't had very many days at all where I felt, like I wasn't there, or I felt like I wasn't performing. And even if I did have like days where I wasn't maybe doing as good as I thought I should have been doing, I kept pushing through it until I started getting, the results I wanted to get out of that training practice. But yeah, I just, to me, I feel great. You know what I mean? Everything's coming together. The camp feels great. My coaches think I'm looking great right now. And, to me, I just want to go in there and, create carnage. You know what I mean? Let's have a fucking war. You know what I mean? Let's do it. Like, I'm just ready to do the damn thing. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And, last time we talked, you kind of had that, that fighter's mentality that let's go out there and do the damn thing feeling, but there was no real fights or anything coming up. Everybody was kind of, on the back burner waiting for, promotions to put fights back on. So do you think that long layoff for you has kind of even fueled that fire more than fighting every so often?
Yeah, I got that. It gives you the itch. You know what I mean? It's like an itch you can't reach, and you just want it to keep coming and coming. And they actually weren't. When I talked to the promoter, they actually weren't going to do a pro fight. As you talked to him the other day, he wasn't going to do a pro fight, and I hit him up. And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, you're not going to do a pro fight?" And he was like, "Well," he's like, "I mean, I guess if you went on the card, like, I can get you on. I'll get you on the card." And I said, "Well, yeah, I want on the card. Like, you know what I mean? I've been out for a year and not under my choice. You know what I mean? The last time I had this long of a layoff was when after the Bellator fight. But I had an injury that kept me out. I was supposed to fight and ended up having to pull out of the fight because I had an injury. So the itch just gets itchier. Like, so you just want to step in there, and I mean, I think that's just the competitive, the competitor coming out. I don't know how you feel. How long? It's been a while since you fought.
It's been a long time. Yeah, it was 2 years actually yesterday since my last fight.
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, so that's definitely my longest layoff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like you get the itch. There's times where you're like, "Oh man, like I'm ready to do this. I want to get in there." There's other times you're like, "Oh, I'm glad like I'm not going through a camp right now and killing myself and going through all that and dieting and all that crap." I mean, the diet sucks, and there's no complaining that the diet sucks. So I don't know how much you cut, but I normally come down. I normally have like a 30-pound cut.
Oh yeah, down to 45. I'd be doing right now. I'd be around 20 to 25 pounds.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
Yeah, I'm normally walking like 73, 75. So it can be shitty, but I got it under control. Got it on point. Last fight, I didn't feel the cut was bad, but I started a little late, and I ended up cutting like almost 10 pounds of water the day of the weigh-ins, and that was rough.
Yeah, that's never fun.
Pretty rough. Yeah, no.
Yeah, especially because I was just talking to Christian Carr about this. He went to 55 instead of 45 for a grappling match. And I was like, that'll be cake for you. Because, like, the last 10 pounds sucks, but the last 5 pounds really sucks.
Yeah, the last 5. like the first 5 come off pretty easy, and then it's like, all right. Then you go back in the sauna, and then you come back out like 40 minutes later, and you're like, what? I've only lost like 0.4 of a pound?
Yeah, so, hopefully for you for this one, you'll have a nice smooth cut. I
think so.
As I started getting into it more and started figuring out my body, I also realized that I just had to walk around a little bit lighter because I think it was the mental side of things for me was like cutting weight sucks, right? But that's almost the fight before the fight. You almost have to do it.
Yeah. And, I mean, I had, wrestling experience and stuff when I was in school, so I cut a little bit of weight. I mean, I never cut as much as I do now, but cut a little bit of weight and stuff like that. So I had experience with it, but it's definitely a game changer. Everyone's always like, why don't you fight bigger? Why don't you just go up? Why don't you fight at your weight? It's like, those are big boys. Like you move up to 55, them guys walking around like 190, 200, you know what I mean? There's some big boys that are but and you see guys do it. Guys like Colby Covington, Frankie Edgar, for example, won the title, and just walk around weight. But I don't know, maybe in the future. I'm never going to say never.
Yeah, I'll never forget when Rumble Johnson tried to make 55. And then I think that was the end of his weight cutting.
Yeah, that guy he missed 70 half the time, or majority. Then he missed 85. Then they cut him, and then they found out he's an actual heavyweight.
Yeah,
so killing people in the heavyweight scene.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
him.
And then come back and fight at 205 and destroying everybody then too.
Yeah, better him than me. But yeah. I wanted to also ask you, you mentioned, Sid's fighting, Cam's fighting. You have that I can't think of his name now, that state champ wrestler who's making his debut.
Caden,
yes. So
Caden Cassidy.
You're right now, you're all kind of in the training room together. You all have that common goal. You're all on the same fight card. And I'm sure over the years of you fighting between amateur and pro, you've also had a couple fights where you've been, kind of the sole focus of a camp, right? You're the only one fighting on that card, for instance.
My whole amateur career.
Yeah. Which one would you say you prefer? Would you prefer, that kind of energy with more people kind of all fighting on the same card? Or do you like that individual training and coaching where you're the only person?
That's a good question. It doesn't really matter to me too awful much. You know what I mean? We're all and the coaches do a really good job of focusing on each guy the same. Like each guy gets the same amount of attention. But it is nice whenever you're the sole person and all 100% of the attention's on you. That was basically my whole amateur career was basically we ran a bootleg operation in a gym, like where we was pulling people off the gym floor to come in and work out and spar, and it worked. I was able to win 2 titles out of it doing it that way. But we're still a young gym, you know what I mean? Because the Gorilla House really didn't take off. I mean, they had the Gorilla House gym, but we like combined the MMA program and stuff with Jason Dignan, and then we all combined the MMA program. That was back in like end of 2017. And at that time, it was just me fighting, and Sydney was just turning 18 and wanting to fight. So it was her getting started. But now that we got, 5-6 guys, we're starting to build, people are coming in. We're starting to build people that want to fight. And, it's a lot better that way when you get guys like that, you know what I mean? Because you get more bodies in the room. Like you look at some of these local good gyms, your gym, for example, look how many fighters you guys got out of it. So where we were at, that was kind of the hard part, was having competitive goes. You know what I mean? There is some, I'm not saying that there isn't. There was some guys that are hobbyists and stuff like that have been doing it for a long time. But maybe they're just straight jits guys, or maybe they're straight striking guys, or you know what I mean. But finding guys that have the same goal and the same idea as I have, you know what I mean, going into it, it helps without the whole entire training camp. Cam's been the last few fights. Cam's been a huge part of the camps and the preparation, and as well as I've been a huge part of his. Helping him and stuff get ready for him, and Sydney and now Caden's always come in and worked out with us, and we always worked a lot of wrestling with him, but now he's been doing it. And Caden's dad's actually our other coach, Darren. Okay. He's our striking coach and wrestling coach. So, but yeah, to have us all, like it's cool. You know what I mean? It's good. Like I do like, it is nice having all the eyes on you. You know what I mean? When you're getting ready for something. But it also has the more pressure that way too. You know what I mean? So, but it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, me and Sydney are the only 2 fighting on Saturday night. So the rest of the guys are fighting on Wednesday night. So that'll be decent because there's only 2 of us Saturday night.
Yeah, and that'll also be nice for your coaches. I'll never forget a night that I think we had 6 or 7, maybe even 8 fighters on a 10-fight card, and Damien's corner and every single person, he was a nervous wreck because he's essentially just walking out, walking back, walking out, walking back. And that's when you kind of have to also rely on, other people in the gym, like those jiu-jitsu specialists or striking coaches or what have you, that can even warm people up. Because at that point, like, your head coach can't be back there warming you up. He can't be going through drills and stuff with you.
Yeah.
And for you specifically, when you're, getting ready for a fight, you're warming up, you're in the back. Do you prefer a longer warm up? Do you kind of just like to get a sweat going and walk out? What's your, your pre-fight preparation like?
Before I started training with Darren, we would do just like a slight warm up. We wouldn't get too crazy. And Darren has this way of, like, he wants you to burn out and get into your second wind. You know what I mean? He wants you to, like, do a hard warm up. And the first time I ever did that was the Seiler fight in Wilkes-Barre, and we warmed up hard. And like I thought, like, originally I was like, man, I might not like this, but I'm gonna try it. And I ended up, like, I actually liked it. I got a damn good sweat going. You know what I mean? Everything's good. You got your air moving good and stuff like that. and then you calm down, and then you hit a like light, then you do a little bit of a light round, and then you go out, and it's like it's like, all right, I already trained for an hour. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready. I already got through my warm up. Now I'm ready to rip. You know what I mean? So yeah, I never really did that until the last couple fights with Darren, but I do like, you know what I mean? I do like the hard warm up. There was times where I didn't warm up at all. It wasn't even my choice, but I was supposed to fight. I was the amateur main event in a show in Altoona, and it was supposed to be a fight before me, an intermission, then me. Well, the fighter before me, one of the fighters fainted or something and hit his head, so that fight got scrapped. And instead of going intermission, it was like, "Gosh, you're up." I'm like, "What do you mean I'm up? Like, I'm supposed to have like 15 minutes here. Like, I was going to start warming up when this fight started." Like, "No, you got to go. You got to go now. You're up." And I remember they like pushed me out to the stage, and I stopped, turned around. I was like, "I ain't going anywhere until my fucking music hits." So I stood there until my music came on, and then I ended up going out. And I remember somebody was like, these people were standing in the way of like the walkway. They were like standing inside this part where you walk to the cage. And I remember this woman, a girl looking at me, and I was like, "Move out of my way!" I'm the cage that night. But I guess it's all for good stuff.
It all works out anyway. Did you ever have it the opposite where they're like, "All right, Goss, you're up," and then you're warmed up, you're ready to go, you're ready to walk, and then it's another 10-15 minutes because something happens, or even longer?
No, I never had that happen yet. I can't say that that's ever happened.
Good. Let's keep that from happening. That's miserable.
that would suck. That would be like you're amped up, ready to go, and you're like, "Well, wait a minute, like what the hell?" So some I mean, as well as I do, I'm sure you fought on some shady promotions, shady shows, and you're just coming up to the amateurs and stuff. But some of them are very, very, very unorganized. You know what I mean? And it just seems like everything's scatterbrained. And then there's other fights where like they rush through. You know what I mean? You no sooner win and get your hand raised, and you're getting pushed out of the cage, and the next you're passing the other guy getting ready to walk down. You know what I mean? So, I kind of don't like them fast-paced ones. I kind of like, man, hey, I just put on a show for you here. Like, let me catch my breath. Let me say a word or two, and then go about business. But
and speaking of, saying that word or two after you get that win, is that something that you ever, think about or kind of prepare beforehand? When you're in the cage and you think about getting your hand raised, you're going to say anything afterwards, or just kind of come to you in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you think about what you're going to say. There's so many different scenarios, so many different things. Like, what if I show up? What if the guy's nothing but a shit talker? You know what I mean? What if I got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder with it? And then I think of like some stuff, and then when I'm in there and I'm doing it, then it's just whatever the scenario was, whatever the situation was, is what I basically say what's on my mind, whether it's good, bad. I mean, never really had any issues where I've had to say anything bad, but I pretty much say what I'm feeling at the moment.
Gotcha. Okay. And, for this fight, you're coming out, you're fighting a guy with, I don't think as much experience as you. He is an undefeated pro. How do you see this fight going now that, you kind of assured us that the Wolverine will be coming back out for this fight?
Yeah. I've been saying I've been fed to the wolves, man.
I mean, the guy that you lost to in your last fight just fought Aaron Pico tonight.
Yes. And, unfortunately for him, he got caught. And, John has a little bit of, but it's not personal. It's just John's style. Like, he has a little bit of arrogance. You know what I mean? He tries to play a game and stuff and get in your head. And but sometimes you just sometimes you eat those words, man. And, like I said, nothing personal against him, but that's what ended up happening to him tonight. But I lost my train of thought.
Oh, no, I was just asking about how you think this fight's going to go with this, fight Ethan, who has a little bit less experience than you, but does have that 2-0 record.
Yeah, I think he's around the same age as me. He's like I said, he hasn't fought the type of guys I've fought. He trains with a lot of good guys and stuff, so he's around them. But like I said, the difference was, man, I've been fed to the wolves my whole entire career. I've been in the trenches. Like I had to start out my first, couple fights. I got through my first couple fights, and I was fighting every top gun they had to offer. Going to Ohio, fighting the guys in their hometowns. You know what I mean? Going to Toledo, Ohio, to fight an undefeated guy with all first round finishes. Another one in Ohio. You know what I mean? Pittsburgh. Every tough guy they had, I fought. And that's to me, that's the difference. That's like I said, I lived in the trenches. I was fed to the wolves. I know, and when that happens, after every time you become one. And to me, that's what I feel like now. I feel like I'm becoming that gangster. I'm becoming that wolf because I've been in there with enough of them to be able to do it. The thing with Hayes is, he's a 55 pounder. He's tall as shit. He's like 6'3", at 155 pounds. So he's going to be coming down to 45 for his first time. Could affect him, could not. I don't know. We'll see. But he's a tall, long, lanky guy. Good boxer. He's got good hands, and he's really where I think he's best is probably his ground game, his jiu-jitsu game. He looks like he has a really good guard, always throwing up triangles, arm bars, stuff like that. So, I've studied a lot of film, focused on a lot of film. Two guys he fought as a pro, I don't believe are near the level that I'm at. But like I said, he trains with high-level guys. He trains with Kama Worthy. He trains with John DeJesus, some Nick Brown, who's getting ready to fight for an LFA title. So, like I just think I'm more seasoned, and I got obviously got the experience. I mean, I had 11 amateur fights, and I'm 10th pro fight now, so this will be my 11th pro fight. I plan on dragging him into trenches. I plan on, you know what I mean? Let's go to the depths of hell. Let's see. Let's see if he's ready for it. I know I am. I can handle it. I've been there. I've done it time and time again. So let's see if he can.
Awesome, Ethan, man. We're definitely looking forward to it. Your fight here coming up on the 28th, fighting Battle of the Burgh 5. That'll be in Pittsburgh for 247 Fighting Championships. Appreciate your time tonight. Before I let you go, just wanted to give you the floor. Any shout outs or anything you want to give back to the people that supported you. The floor is yours.
Yeah. I got to thank coaches, obviously putting all the time in. Ray really dedicating the time. Darren dedicating time to us. All my family, my girlfriend, everybody that supports me, that makes it easier at home here. Cause obviously you don't get a lot of home time, with working, 10-hour days and then having to go straight to the gym and being at the gym all evening. So my girlfriend's extremely understanding, and I couldn't ask for her to be better than she is. And she's always on point with the meals and stuff like that. Like, I'm getting yelled at if she sees me trying to cheat or something. So probably why the weight cut's going pretty easy this time. But with her, my parents, both my parents support. I actually work with my dad now. Him and I run an excavating business together. So he's cool with everything. I take my time off and all that. My raccoon's biting my hand right now. We just everybody that helps put into it and stuff. All the training partners, Cam, Caden, even guys that, that come in just to help, the hobbyist guys and stuff that, they try to make sure they're there to help us out. Everybody, thank you to you guys for, taking care of the shirts and all that stuff. Cause my girlfriend used to make the shirts, and it relieves. I know the last fight we put an order out for the shirts, and we ended up getting, what was there, like 75 shirts or something. She was like, oh my God. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys help us out a lot. It makes it nice to be able to just focus on the fight, to be able to focus on the preparation, like I said, for that violence. So I get to pinpoint everything there, and everything's going well. Everything feels great. So on the 28th, Wolverine's going to show up, and we're going to go to town.
Awesome, man. We're looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing some of that violence. Good luck on the 28th, and we'll talk to you soon.
I do got to say, you guys are hurting Cam's little feelings.
Oh,
he says, man, they keep sponsoring everybody but the gym but me.
tell him to send me a message.
I told him, I was like, I'm gonna say something to I was like, I'm gonna tell John tonight that you're doing a ball baby around and being a little ball baby pissy pants because you're not getting sponsored. The rest of us are getting sponsored. He's like, yeah, I'm undefeated. Like, I'm nobody's. He just makes jokes and stuff about it.
Tell him to hit me up. We'd be happy to have him.
I'll tell him.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. All right, man.
Thanks a lot, Ethan. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, we'll tell you. You have a good night, buddy.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Yeah.